One phone call, 3 war zones, and a warning that could shake the world. Putin has reportedly told Trump that any new US strike on Iran would bring extremely harmful consequences. At the same time, Ukraine's ceasefire talks are back on the table. So while leaders talk peace on one front, are they preparing for fire on another? A high-stakes phone call between Washington and Moscow has now placed Iran, Ukraine, and the future of global security on the same diplomatic fault line. In a dramatic exchange, Vladimir Putin has reportedly warned Donald Trump of severe consequences if the United States launches further attacks on Iran. According to reports, the Russian president issued the warning during a 90-minute telephone conversation with Trump on April 29th. Putin's foreign policy advisor said Moscow regards the prospect of a United States ground operation in Iran as highly dangerous. Russian media reported.
Putin told Trump there would be extremely harmful consequences if the United States and Israel strike Iran again.
He reportedly described any ground operation or invasion as extremely dangerous and unacceptable. The call also covered the war in Ukraine, where both leaders are said to have discussed the possibility of a temporary ceasefire. Trump later commented on the conversation, saying,
"And we had a very good conversation. I think we're going to come up with a solution relatively quickly, I hope." I think he'd like to see a solution, I can tell you, and that's good.
What involvement does he want to have in the Iran situation?
He told me he'd like to be involved with the enrichment if he can help us get it. I said I'd much rather have you be involved with ending the war with Ukraine. To me, that would be more important because we're gonna have that. You know, I asked him about even if it's a little ceasefire. There's so many people being killed. It's so ridiculous.
He also hinted, as he has previously, that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky shared responsibility for not agreeing to a peace settlement. The diplomatic developments come as tensions with Iran continue to intensify. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei, has issued a written statement declaring that the Islamic Republic will defend its nuclear and missile capabilities as national assets. The statement was read aloud on Iranian state television. Khamenei has issued written messages since assuming leadership after the February 28th airstrike that killed his father, Ali Khamenei. Multiple reports have suggested he was seriously wounded in that strike and has not appeared publicly since taking over. In the statement, Khamenei said,
90 million proud and honourable Iranians inside and outside the country regard all of Iran's identity-based, spiritual, human, scientific, industrial and technological capacities, from nanotechnology and biotechnology to nuclear and missile capabilities, as national assets, and will protect them just as they protect the country's waters, land and airspace.
The Supreme Leader also says that the only place Americans belong in the Persian Gulf is at the bottom of its waters. Khamenei further declared that the future of the Gulf region would be one without America, serving instead the prosperity and progress of its own people. He said Iran and neighbouring Gulf states share a common destiny and accused foreign powers of entering the region with greed and hostile intent. The Supreme Leader added that Tehran would secure the Gulf and end what he described as enemy abuses of the waterway. He also claimed that new management of the Strait of Hormuz would bring calm, economic benefits and stability to Gulf nations. The latest statements reveal a rapidly escalating global confrontation where threats over Iran, fragile ceasefire talk in Ukraine, and control of strategic waterways are now colliding at once. Poland's Prime Minister has issued one of the starkest warnings yet from a Western leader about the threat Russia poses to NATO's eastern flank, saying an attack on alliance territory could come within months. Speaking to the Financial Times, Donald Tusk said the question keeping him and his neighbours up at night is no longer whether Russia might act, but whether the United States would respond if it did.
For the whole eastern flank, my neighbours, the question is if NATO is still an organisation ready, politically and also logistically, to react, for example, against Russia if they try to attack. I'm talking about short-term perspectives, rather months than years. For us, it's really important to know that everyone will treat the NATO obligations as seriously as Poland. Washington treats Poland as the best and closest ally in Europe. But for me, the real problem is what it is in practice if something happens.
Tusk's comments land against a backdrop of deliberate Russian provocation. This week, Moscow flew nuclear-capable Tu-22M3 bombers over the Baltic Sea in a 4-hour show of force, with NATO fighters scrambling to intercept them. Russia's own defense ministry confirmed the escort, framing it as routine. Tusk later defended his comments.
There is no doubt. These are declarations from the American side, repeated for many, many months, that Europe must defend itself and must rely primarily on its own strength, along with the skepticism of the Washington administration towards NATO as such, towards the European Union as such. These are also not new. I want to shake up all those who want to live in delusions, in illusions. Russia is preparing for further acts of aggression. We know this. It doesn't just seem that way. We know it.
Russia, meanwhile, has accused Baltic states of allowing Ukrainian drones to use their airspace for strikes on Russian oil ports, claims NATO members flatly reject. Kremlin's Security Council Secretary Sergei Shoigu invoked Article 51 of the UN Charter, asserting Russia's right to self-defense. Tusk also made headlines for cracking a joke that there was immense relief among EU leaders for the latest summit, because for the first time in years, there were no Russians present in the room. Russia's top envoy Kirill Dmitriev hit back at the Polish leader.
See you in 2 months as you come to Russia to beg for energy. Please save enough jet fuel for the flight.
For Tusk, however, the answer lies in a Europe that stops depending on Washington's goodwill and starts building the practical tools to defend itself, describing European reintegration around common defense as his personal mission, and, increasingly, a matter of urgency.